when you slow down, when you sit in stillness, when you're grounded, when you're present, that when you're out of your head, right, out of your mental body,
Mm.
that's energy in. That's receptivity mode. That's when the best sources of inspiration come through. That's when intuition comes through. That's when the best ideas come through. That's when manifestation builds momentum. All right, welcome to this episode of Change Your Reality. I'm your host, Nick Breau, and today we're doing a segment called the 30-Minute Breakthrough, where we assist one of our audience members to see how big of a breakthrough they can experience in about 30 minutes. And today we're talking to Danny down in Costa Rica. How you doing, Danny?
I'm really good, Nick. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. You ready to have some fun and play for a little bit?
Yes, absolutely.
Good. And how long have you been working in this spiritual self-help world? I know you're a meditation coach. How long have you been playing in this world for?
Maybe 5 or 6 years. It's not too long. Yeah, not too
Awesome.
long.
And of those 5 or 6 years, who are some of the teachers you've studied? What's some of the stuff you've looked at? Um, I know you do. You said meditation and yoga.
Yeah, yes. I'm a meditation and yoga teacher. One of the big influencers for me has been um, Sri Ramana Maharishi, Muji, um, Miriam Williamson. Um,
Awesome.
gosh, I'm trying to draw on the blank.
And at what point did you kind of start directing yourself into learning more about kind of the law of attraction?
I think when I knew that when I heard that it was possible, like that there were things that you could bring into your reality, pull into your reality, and that was maybe a couple of years ago, and I wanted to learn how. Like I heard people were doing it, and I was very curious about like how it was done.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of the $1 million question, I think, because a lot of people will watch The Secret, and then their mindset is like, "Oh, I'm just going to go create a vision board, and I'm going to have all the desires that I could ever want." And
Mm.
unfortunately, it's not quite that simple. But once you start diving into the deeper stuff, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, what are we going to look at today? What's the breakthrough that you're looking for?
I want fin- financial freedom. Like, no, people say the term financial freedom, but I think for me, on a deeper level, it's like financial non-worrying. Like, I just don't want to think about money, and to be able to live in ease. A lot of time, my energy is spent um, thinking about money, and I think that I've heard some of your teachings where it talks about like practicing absence versus presence. And I feel like the more that I think about it, I'm practicing absence, and I don't want that.
Totally.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I love how you explain that. I like the term financial ease. And I think
yeah,
when people say financial freedom, freedom is really what people are looking for. Most people either have, freedom of time, but people who have
mm,
freedom of time often don't have the freedom of money, right? The
mm,
people who have freedom of money are typically giving away all of their time to make that money. So
mm,
for a lot of people, it's really this quest of having the freedom of having both the time and the money. So, and financial freedoms, sure, it would be nice to have expensive cars and private jets and mansions all over the place. But really, I think what people deep down truly want is exactly what you said, is just the ability to do what you want to do when you want to do it.
yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And I think Bashar, I don't know if you study Bashar, but Bashar talks about that. And he says that, our inner beings and source are always giving us what we need when we need it. But I think a
Mm,
lot of people are simply pinching off the their receiving mode to allowing what it is that they need in for themselves. Um,
mm,
Now, when you talked about it a second ago, you said, you catch yourself focusing on lack, focusing on the absence of the finances, and that's probably one of the dominant things that most people are doing to pinch it off. Because, if you study the law of attraction for any amount of time, you understand that what we get is based on where we put our focus,
Mm.
the emotions we practice, and the perspectives that we practice, the beliefs. So money is tricky because it's very easy to focus on lack of money when you're in a circumstance where the money's not there.
Yes. Yeah.
So, have you ever heard me talk about what I called the three jar process?
No.
Okay, so this is a process that I've given to people. I've never talked about it on the podcast before, so it's a good time to bring it up. So, essentially, the three jar process is a process to do the exact opposite of focusing on lack of finances. It's to get you to focus on the presence of finances.
Mm.
And you can do it with three jars, you can do it with five jars, you can do it with 10 jars, doesn't really matter. But what you want to do is you want to take your jars, and on every jar, you want to put a label on it.
Okay.
And on that label, you would write something down like, I have money, I have wealth. Okay.
Mm.
And it doesn't matter how much money you put in that jar. You could put a quarter, you could put a nickel, you could put a $20 bill. And then you put those jars all around the house in places where you're going to see them often.
Okay.
And every time you walk into your office or the kitchen or the bathroom or wherever you have that jar, and every time you notice it, you read that label and you feel that feeling of, yes, I have wealth, I have money, because you're literally looking at a jar with money in it.
Mm.
And do you see how when you do that, you're activating the opposite of that feeling of absence of money?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So the goal of that exercise, now you can't look at that jar and say, I have wealth, and then go, yeah, but it's only 50 cents and I'm broke, right? Because then you're countering the vibration you're practicing, right? The
Right.
idea here is physical reality doesn't respond to what we say. It responds to how we feel. It responds to what we're running through our nervous system.
Mm.
So when you look at that jar and you notice that there's money in it, again, doesn't matter how much. The
Mm.
important thing is to sit with it and take 25 seconds, 30 seconds. Obviously, the longer the better, but even if it's just for 20 seconds, to sit there
Mm.
and just feel that feeling in your nervous system of, yes, I have wealth.
Mm.
A very simple process, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, like writing the notes there now, like thank you. Like this is really good, helpful.
And now a lot of people will do this exercises and then they'll put the jars around their house and then they'll forget about the jars after a couple of days.
Mm.
So the important thing is it's not having those jars in your house that's going to make a difference. It's you noticing those jars multiple times on a daily basis and making
Mm.
sure you tune into those feelings. Okay?
Mm.
And I've got somebody on my YouTube channel. He sent me a video probably a year and a half ago, maybe, where he did this process. I forget for how long. It wasn't a very long time, but he manifested something like $40,000 out of the blue
Oof.
after doing this process. Right. And I've had a
Wow.
number of people tell me that they manifested money doing this. And again, it's a very simple exercise,
Yeah.
but it can be very powerful if you're consistent with it. Now, something else that can get in the way, of course, is money perspectives, money beliefs, right? Split energy. So, split
Mm.
energy is when part of us wants something and then another part of us doesn't. So, for example, I had worked with somebody who had been running their own company for a while, and they had realized that every time that they were about to close on like a really, really big deal financially, they would always mess it up. They would sabotage it.
Mm.
And I
Okay.
started digging with the person to try to identify, what is that root cause of this sabotage. And typically sabotage happens when part of you wants it, but part of you doesn't, due to fear. And I was able to take that person all the way back to childhood, where she said her father passed away when she was young, maybe the age of 10. And she said, but we don't have to go there. I've done therapy. It doesn't bother me anymore. I'm okay. I said, okay, but let's just take a look. I said, share with me, what happened with your dad. And she shared that her dad was an entrepreneur. They were a very wealthy family. And one day somebody came along and offered her dad a sure shot deal that was going to make them even more wealthy. The
Wow.
dad bought into it, um, put all of the family's fortune into this sure shot deal, which
Mm.
ended up not being so sure shot. They lost all of their money, and the father subsequently had a heart attack and passed away. So that 10-year-old her associated finances with the passing of her father.
Wow.
So that was enough of a subconscious programming, which she didn't realize she had, to instantiate that sabotage whenever the money was about to come in for her. Does that make
Mm.
sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So for you, if I asked you the question, if you were about to make a whole bunch of money, let's say some celebrity contacted you and said, Danny, I want you to be my private
Mm.
meditation yoga coach. I'm going to pay you $20,000 a month every month. If you, the idea of that amount of money coming in for you,
Hmm.
does that feel unsafe in any way?
No, it feels really, really good. Um, I, I wonder if though, because I know about like feelings of resistance,
Yeah.
like, but in this moment when I think about it, I feel like happy, like joyous, like that would,
Good.
like I envisioned like
Good.
my favorite rapper, like, hiring me to teach him,
Good. So
and
if I say it's not safe to make a lot of money or to have a lot of money because if I do,
mm,
does anything pop in your head?
mm, no, but
And that's
there's a
okay. That might just mean that you don't have split energy, which is a good thing.
okay, okay, yeah, I welcome it, like I desire it, and but there are also like deep feelings of frustration when something doesn't come through or something doesn't happen. Like there's like a frustration there. This happened a couple of days ago where like um, I was supposed to be paid for a service and it didn't happen,
Okay,
and that was
perfect.
constrained. Yeah.
Let's do a little bit more digging then.
Okay. Okay.
So, have you ever heard of an attraction point audit?
No.
This is where we look at a bunch of different circumstances, past and present, and we look at the negative emotion that kind of gets triggered in all of these different circumstances. And with about 90% of people that I do this with, it's the same one or two, sometimes three emotions that keep coming up over and over and over again.
Okay.
That's what I call a dominant negative emotion. That's the biggest source of resistance that you're practicing. Now,
Okay.
my guess for you on the topic of money, it's typically feeling stuck or powerless.
Yes.
Do you,
Absolutely.
do you feel like a lot of circumstances in your reality trigger that feeling of stuck or powerlessness?
Yeah. Yeah. I I have a period of having everything that I need taken care of, and then like there will be a season of like coming up against a wall of like, will I have this future need taken care of?
Okay, so let's explore that a little bit. So let's do
Yeah.
the audit. We'll see what comes up, and then we'll see if we can kind of work you out of that pattern a little bit.
Okay.
So, right now for work, you said that you do your meditation yoga business.
Yeah, I have private clients. I also receive a stipend from the nonprofit
Perfect.
that I.
So
Yeah,
let's look at those separately. So one is the nonprofit and one is your meditation yoga coaching business.
yeah.
What would you say is the biggest challenge in your coaching business? Is it not enough clients? Is it clients are too demanding? Is it, if there's one thing in your coaching business that triggers a negative emotion, what would it be?
Um, Consistency. So I'll have a number of clients for a period of time, and then there might be a season where there won't be as many clients.
Perfect. So that lack of consistency, that makes me feel,
Yeah,
what
yeah. It
emotion does
feels
it trigger?
like anxious because I'm wanting to tap into when it will be available again.
Yeah. And what about an
Yeah,
emotion like that stuck feeling or frustration or not good enough? There was an emotion attached.
the motion would be like a worrying kind of feeling, like uncertainty, and even like a feeling of like instability.
Okay.
Um,
So really an anxious, unstable feeling.
yes, yeah, yeah.
Right? And then what about with the nonprofit? If you were to identify the toughest or hardest or most contrasting part of that, what emotion would surface?
There are feelings around metrics and impact, and so we'll have um, a number of programs that we'll run, and I get anxious around the metrics and the impact that we can be able to show donors, and to be able to get more donors for that same. It's a cycle of like metrics impact donors, metric impact donors,
Okay. So it's
and I
that
still.
so it's that
Yeah,
anxious feeling again.
yeah, exactly, and
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And then what about with your finances? So my financial circumstances make me feel
The same unstable because they're tied to both, because I'm paid from the clients, and I'm paid from the nonprofit, and so when both of those things feel unstable, then it immediately affects how I get paid. And
okay. So everything feels bottled up with this pattern of this anxious feeling,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And that anxious feeling, 0 to 10, how strong is it?
Like a 7, 8.
7, 8. Okay. So
Yeah.
now, without analyzing it, without thinking about it,
Okay.
first thing that comes to mind, that anxious feeling, I feel that way because
Not worthy.
I'm not worthy. Perfect.
Wow, that's weird, man.
Interesting, the stuff that comes up once we get out of our mind, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that feeling, I'm not worthy, 0 to 10, how strong is it?
Eight,
8.
7, 8.
And you see how a belief like I'm not worthy could maybe hamper
Hmm.
finances and letting stuff in?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that feeling, I'm not worthy. First thing that comes up for you, I feel like I'm not worthy because I feel that way because.
The feeling is I can't I can't name it. I feel it. If that makes any sense, I feel it energetically, but I
Okay.
can't like.
So there's that feeling. Call it
Yeah,
that feeling. 0 to 10, how strong is it?
same, like 7, 8.
Perfect.
Yeah,
And if I said that feeling, I feel that way because, does anything come up?
there's things that have happened in the past. Uh, um, no, I feel like there's some things that have happened in the past that kind of.
Okay, so past circumstances.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So would you say I'm not worthy because of past circumstances?
yeah,
Perfect.
yes, yeah,
Okay. So are there other people who have experienced the same or very similar circumstances?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And are those people automatically not worthy?
No,
Okay.
not yeah.
So why is it different for you? Why are you not worthy even though everybody else is who's been through those same circumstances?
It's irrational. It's
Perfect.
irrational.
Perfect.
Yeah,
It's irrational. So you would agree that this belief that I'm not worthy because of those circumstances doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. No,
Good. Can you
no.
let that sink in and integrate for a second? That belief
Mhm.
that I'm not worthy because of past circumstances doesn't make sense. Nick knows it doesn't make sense. My inner being knows it doesn't make sense. And now I can see the truth that it doesn't make sense either.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. It's a rush.
Good.
Yeah,
So that I'm not worthy feeling, you said it was a 7 or an 8. What number would you give it now?
3 or 4. Like,
Awesome. Good.
yeah, it's
Now it's
nothing.
still a 3 or 4. And
Yeah,
what comes up for you when I say that unworthy feeling? I still feel that way because
it's like a what if. Like you feel this way now, but like, what if? It's like a bank deposit of worry. It's just that is my mind. Like I'm an overthinker, and it's just like,
that's okay. So that I'm not worthy feeling. So
yeah,
I'm not worthy because explain this what if to me.
it's a thought about the cycle, like anticipation of it happening again. Part of that.
What happens next
Hmm.
week or the week after that or a year
Hmm.
after that? Does
Hmm.
that define my worthiness?
No, no, it doesn't.
Does it
It,
define your worthiness?
no,
No.
no.
Worthiness is just an energy that you have the ability to tune out of or tune into. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Every emotion is just an energy with two different ends of the spectrum:
Mm.
worthiness, unworthiness. It's just an energy that you can give yourself permission to tune into or to not tune into. There is not a international board of worthiness who certifies people in worthiness, right?
Yeah.
Right? We are
Yeah.
all inherently born worthy. Have you ever
Yes.
seen a newborn baby that's not worthy?
No.
Can
Mm-mm.
you somehow lose your certificate of worthiness at any point in your reality?
No.
Perfect. So,
No.
this belief that you've been practicing, that irrational belief that you're not worthy,
Mm.
would you agree that it doesn't make sense?
Yes. No, it doesn't make sense at all. I'm
Good.
agreeing.
Can you
Yeah.
feel that feeling that it doesn't make sense?
Absolutely.
Good.
Yes.
So, that feeling that I'm not worthy, what number would you give it now?
Isn't it there? Nothing.
Good.
It's
Can't feel it? Awesome.
yeah.
Now, that anxious feeling, you said it was a 7 or an 8.
Yeah.
What number would you give it now?
It's not there because like I'm present now. I'm not thinking about the future.
Good.
Because it hasn't. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And do you feel like you think about the future a lot?
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
do.
here's the thing about the future. Do you worry about the future?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know how you get better control over what happens in the future?
No.
Is
I
it
mean,
is it by spending more time being focused on the future, or is it by being present right here, right now?
presence, definitely presence. Presence.
Right.
Yeah.
So one of the examples I like to use, you understand law of attraction, right?
Yeah. I think I do. I
Okay.
feel like.
Do you understand that the vibration that we practice
Hmm.
leads to the reality that we end up experiencing?
Yes. Agree.
So if
Agree.
I'm practicing the vibration of success and I've got 5 different business opportunities, doesn't matter which one I choose from the vibration of success, what's the outcome going to be?
It's gonna be success. Yeah.
And if I'm in the
Like.
vibration of failure and I've got those same 5 opportunities,
Oof. Yeah.
what's the end result going to be?
It's gonna be failure. Yeah.
So, can I control my vibration for 1 week from now? Or can I only control my vibration in the present moment?
In the present moment. Yeah.
So, does it even make sense to even think about anything outside of the present moment?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Who is it that says your power is in the now?
It's source
Source
or being.
and Eckhart
Yeah.
Tolle,
Oh yes. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who was
Yeah.
channeling Source, right?
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
Eckhart Tolle says your power is in the now, literally the way you exercise that power is through the vibration that you practice
Mm.
in the now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go waste my time thinking and worrying about next month because I know that the more time I spend right here, the better my next month is going to be.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how does that feel?
Amazing. Yeah. It feels resonant, as true, as real. Like, yeah. Yeah.
Good. And how do you feel now compared to when we started the call?
Very at ease, literally the ease that I want to call in. It's here.
The
Yeah.
relief, the ease.
Hmm.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Now, let's
present.
talk a little bit about the receptivity mode
Okay.
because pinching off the receptivity mode is the one of the other ways that people will often pinch off their ability to receive. Now,
Mm.
we just dealt with what I believe is probably your biggest source of resistance, which was
Mm.
the unworthy and the anxiousness.
Hmm.
So clearing that might have been enough to just open the floodgates of finances for you. Okay.
Mm.
Now, let's talk about the receptivity mode.
Okay.
So, do you feel like you're go, 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 go all the time?
I can be for sure. Yeah.
Do you find like
Yes.
your mind is go, 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 go all the time?
Oh yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, to be a master at, let's call it manifesting,
Mm.
you want to have a balance of energy going out and energy coming in. And I would call energy going out intent setting. And I would call energy coming in being in this receptivity mode and receiving.
Okay.
Now, energy going out, when I call it intent setting, it's much more than intent setting because everything you focus on is intent setting. Every thought you think is intent setting. Every time you're worrying about something, you're setting your intent to receive more of that, right? That's
Mm.
energy out. When you slow down, when you sit in stillness, when you're grounded, when you're present, that when you're out of your head, right, out of your mental body,
Mm.
that's energy in. That's receptivity mode. That's when the best sources of inspiration come through. That's when intuition comes through. That's when the best ideas come through. That's when manifestation builds momentum, right?
Wow.
So, for you being a meditation coach and a yoga coach, my guess is you probably spend more time in the receptivity mode than most people. Because typically, when you're doing yoga and meditation, you're getting in that receptivity mode, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So for you, this might be more of a reminder. For a lot of listeners, this might be a, oh crap, that's me. But that's all to say to check in with yourselves and ask yourself, how much time am I spending energy out versus energy in? And you want to have a good balance between the two.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that reminder because I still have the cycle because with even especially with the nonprofit, which takes the bulk of my energy, that is always go go go, and there have been times where that has been more dominant over my practice.
So here's a
Um,
question for you.
yeah.
If that nonprofit were exactly how you would want it, your relationship and the dynamic with that nonprofit for you,
Mm.
how would it feel differently for you than it does now?
Oh, there would be so much ease because
Perfect. You went
the
exactly where I wanted to go with that word ease. Okay.
yeah.
Remember earlier how I said that if you're practicing the vibration of success, then the end result will be success. And if you're practicing the vibration of failure, the end result's going to be failure.
Yes.
You cannot build a business of ease from the vibration of effort.
Mm.
right?
Wow.
It's not the actions you're taking in your business that's important. I mean, yes, the actions are important, but what's 1,000 times more important than the actions is the vibration you're practicing as you take those actions.
Mm. Wow.
So for me, whenever I'm working on my business, I make sure I'm in alignment. I make sure I feel good. And if anything starts feeling like effort for me, I take a break. I turn around, I walk away, I wait for a new inspiration, I wait till it feels better, I wait for something else to come along. Sometimes I don't even come back to whatever it was I was working on, right?
Mm.
And that's because I want the vibrational foundation of my business to be one of ease and fun and excitement. If something doesn't feel fun and exciting for me, especially in
Mm.
my business, I don't go there.
Mm.
And that's really key to building a business, especially a coaching business. Do you ever
Mm.
notice how the more fun you're having in your business, the more
Yeah.
clients show up?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's
A,
enjoyable.
a lot of coaches who struggle to attract clients, it's because they're so busy trying to attract clients, they're not having fun, right? They're
Mm.
not. And when you have fun, you open up the energy and you're more in that receiving mode.
Oof. Yeah.
How does that
I
feel?
want it. It feels really good. It's a reminder to do the things that I enjoy. You know, to do things that make my soul happy.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it's all really about, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's
Yeah.
in the context of the business or anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else
Mm.
come to mind that you want to look at or explore? Because I'm blown away by how much stuff we've looked at in just this short amount of time we've been talking so far.
I I feel a feeling of gratitude. That's the only thing I can say in this moment is just gratitude. Yeah, like you know, I have my notes here of like doing the jar practice and practicing more receptivity, like deepening my practice so that I can be in that state of receiving. You know.
Good. Now, here's a
Yeah.
question for you.
Yeah.
Are you now expecting more clients to show up?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
now expecting way more money to show up?
Yes. Yes.
Good. So,
Yes.
no feelings of doubt there.
No.
Awesome.
No. No.
Perfect.
No.
Well, you did amazing today. You shifted things incredibly fast. Amazing stuff. Any final words? Any comments? Any other questions before we wrap up?
Just deep gratitude to you, Nick. Deep, deep, deep gratitude. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. I appreciate you for being on the show. And that concludes this episode of Change Your Reality. If you'd like to be a guest on this show, you can find all the details on the website at nickbro.com. Bye for now. That's it for today's episode of Change Your Reality. If you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, to join our membership community, or to be trained as a facilitator, you can find all the details on the website at nickbro.com.